Hi, I'm Daniel Foley. In this video, I want to talk to you about yielding control back to God so that you can take the ideas and wisdom that He's put inside of you and turn it into action and turn it into fulfilling your purpose in life. So in June of 2015, I was listening to a sermon by a guy named Jesse Duplantis, and in that sermon he was talking about cultivating your yield. So a farmer, how do they cultivate their yield? And he kept saying this word yield over and over, and that word just seemed to jump out at me. And the next morning I was reading in my Bible, and I read the book of Proverbs every morning. I was in Proverbs 18, and it says, "A man is satisfied by the yield of his lips." And again, that word yield just jumped off the page at me. And then I later went on that same day to listen to another sermon by Duplantis, and in that sermon he said you need to yield to the anointing for wealth. And that word yield, again, just jumped out at me. And so the Lord's trying to teach me something here. Anytime He wants to teach me something, He always shows me things in 2 or 3 different places all the time. And so that word yield just seemed to jump out at me. And I didn't know what to do with it exactly at first. But you want to think about, what does the word yield mean? So you think about if you're driving and you're getting on a ramp on a highway, and you have to yield to the other traffic that's still going by, you're giving them the right of way, so to speak. So we need to learn how to give God control, give Him the right of way, and let us take the back seat, so to speak, sometimes. That's a hard thing to do, though, because a lot of us, we want to be in control all the time. And that takes some faith to say, all right, God, you got this. I'm going to follow you, okay? So I want to talk about how do we start to do that. So in that sermon, Duplantis said, I want you to yield to the anointing for wealth. So this word anointing, what is anointing? So I started looking up that word anointing. To anoint means, it used to be a shepherding term. The shepherds would take olive oil and they would smear olive oil over the fur of the sheep. The reason they would do that is it especially covered the ears, and it would protect them. It was a blessing, and that it would protect them from getting bugs into their ears, and the bugs would get infected and things like that. So it was a layer of protection and a layer of blessing on top of these sheep. So that's the first thing here. So this anointing level, so we need to yield to the anointing. So the Bible says that you have an anointing from God that teaches you all things. Okay? So when we talk about yielding, we need to learn how to give up the struggle. You need to realize that God is in you and He's working through you to produce everything that He wants to produce. And so you have this dynamic. We call it dynamic tension. It's a hard thing to grasp sometimes. But you need to learn how to stop toiling. This is the biggest thing I had to learn how to do. Learn how to stop toiling and trying to force everything to happen and trying to make everything happen on your own. But at the same time, you need to be working hard and working diligently at the same time. So you need to have this dynamic tension. You need to have 2 very strong abilities. You need to have the ability to completely rest mentally, that hey, God's got this, He's going to lead me every step of the way, and I'm at rest. I'm not toiling trying to have to figure everything out, and He's going to give me the ideas on what to do. So I got to strengthen this side of the equation. But at the same time, when He gives me ideas to write a book or to shoot a video or to make music, whatever it is He's called you to do, you're going to have to put in the work. He's not going to write the book for you. He's not going to build the business for you. He's going to give you the ideas and put all the people in the right place, but it's going to require work and diligence on your part. So God doesn't promote laziness. We're supposed to rest, but God doesn't promote laziness. And so we need to be strong on both ends of the spectrum. I need to completely be able to rest in faith that, hey, God's got this, He's got me, and He's going to give me the ideas and line everything up for me, but I'm going to have to do the work. I'm going to have to work hard at this to make it happen. I'm going to have to write the book. I'm going to have to shoot the videos. I'm going to have to build the business. Whatever it is that you're going to have to do, you're going to have this dynamic tension between the 2 of these. Now, you're going to have a balance here, because if I get way imbalanced and I'm working, but I'm not rest, now I'm striving mentally and I'm putting myself under a lot of stress. So what I'm talking about is we got to get to the place where you work extremely hard, but you do so from a place where you are mentally at rest and you're in faith. And so that's the dynamic tension that we have to have. And that's a hard thing to understand sometimes for people. So we have to have this dynamic tension between work and rest. I have to be completely at rest mentally. I'm not striving to please God, to earn my own righteousness, to make everything happen. I trust that He's got it and He's going to work everything for my good. And I just take the steps. I do what He's told me to do. I be obedient. I do what He's told me to do, and I work hard. Paul talks about, hey, I'm working harder than anybody out here. I'm not taking your stuff because I'm working harder than anybody out here. So we have to learn how to yield the control back to God. Let him be in control, but we still have a part to play, and that we have this work to do. So there's this dynamic tension going on between the two of these. And the more I can learn how to rest more deeply and to work even harder, I'm stretching that out. Now my borders, we talked about the Jabez prayer, now my borders have expanded, and I've got more room, more freedom in there, and I'm going to find that balance point. Because sometimes we get imbalanced. I get really good at work, but not good at rest. Or people get really good at resting, but they're not willing to work. And so you got to have this dynamic tension between those. And that's a little bit on how to yield to the anointing that's been placed on you.